you so much, Brian. Well, welcome everybody to another Swift Summit. As you know, you've already seen today, our theme is making your program's impact visible to leadership. So what we're going to do now is a customer panel where we've got three of our customers to kind of speak to the topics and general theme of making your program's impact visible. So without further ado, I will get started with this and introduce them. First, I think it's only fair to introduce myself. My name is Wihlm. For those of you that don't know me, I am on the customer success team as a customer success manager. Um, really, with this role, I've been here 3 years, seeing some stuff in the chat. Hello, everybody. But yeah, it's been wonderful working with all of you and with these three individuals today. Let's kind of dive into this panel and the relationship that we have. So, without further ado, Erin, let's throw it over to you. Do you mind introducing yourself to everybody that's here today?
Hey, good morning, everybody. So I'm Erin Sweeney. I run the cross connection control program here for Castle Rock Water. Been in the industry for, 14 years and win my current position for five. Um, I think that's about all.
That's perfect. That's perfect. Thank you.
Uh,
Awesome. Alrighty, well, let's jump it over to Ilya.
Hey, good morning, everyone. I've been in utilities for 11 years with the city the past 6.5 now, I guess, and three of them as the cross connection specialist.
Beautiful. Awesome. Thank you so much. And then Doreen, we'll throw it to you.
Hi, I'm Doreen. I work for the city of Cottonwood, right in the middle of Arizona, and I run the cross connection control and conservation program here. So I wear a lot of different hats, but I've been doing this cross connection for almost 6 years now for the city.
Awesome. Awesome. Perfect. Well, thank you guys. I appreciate those introductions. So let's dive into some questions and some topics here to kind of tie back again to that general theme of today's discussion. So now that we've knocked out the introductions, let's go off into talking about some of those survey findings that Brian was just going through. I guess just listening to it, the one that stuck out the most to me as kind of shocking, I guess, was the 39% responded that their leadership don't see the value of their program. Um, that's high. Like that's kind of bewildering. So I guess I'm curious, and let's start maybe with you here, Ilya. Would you mind speaking to what's your thoughts on that number? 39% responded to that survey that leadership doesn't see the value of their program. Does that surprise you? And how does that apply to your program? Do you agree?
It does not surprise me at all. In my 3 years here, we've had a lot of management changes, and not being a dedicated utility district, but part of a city, some of the appointments come from outside of utilities and people in leadership. They might be great leaders, but they are just dipping their toes in utilities, and there's a lot of things that go into that. So I've had to figure out a way to present what we do and why it's important, not just because, the state says, hey, you have to do this, but there's a broader picture of why it's important. So um, try to figure out where your leadership is coming from, try to build on anything they can maybe relate to
For
and
sure.
start from there. And if they're willing to learn, they'll ask questions. If they're not, it doesn't matter what you say, unfortunately.
I mean, that it is true. So, I think what I love most about this panel is we've got a pretty good spread, I think, geographically, but then also the size of the programs that we've got here. So I'm kind of curious, Doreen, is that the same for you? Are you surprised by that? Kind of what's your thoughts?
I thought the percentage might have been a little bit higher, but I work with a really good team of people, our director of utilities, assistant director of utilities. All of our management here, just for the utilities department alone, have been here for a long time. They're very familiar with the ins and outs of our whole entire system, the things that can go wrong,
Sure.
and know the importance of having a backflow program here. So
Yeah.
I think it's a little bit different, but we're also a lot smaller too than a lot of bigger municipalities.
Right.
But I've got a lot of support here.
Excellent. Excellent. That's wonderful to hear. And then, Erin, I'm curious to hear your insights on this one as well.
yeah, Zach, I have a great leadership team that are very aware of the importance of our cross connection program. Um, one of our assistant directors actually came from CDPHE, which is the state of Colorado. So the first thing when I met him, he's like, "You've got a very important job." So it's nice to know, and my direct leader too, she's very knowledgeable and understanding. I think other folks, like general public, don't have any idea. So
Right.
when we do a good job, no news is good news.
Yeah.
And when there's bad, then of course that's bad. But um, nobody else hears what we do or understands what we do. So it's kind of interesting, complex.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you guys. I really appreciate your insight on that one. Jumping into kind of our next question here, I wanted to get a little bit more into the, I guess, like theme of tracking and like reporting. So I guess maybe the easiest way to ask this is like on a scale of 1 to 5, how would you rate your department's job, like you and your team's job of tracking program results and then getting that in front of people, reporting that? What does that look like, and how would you rate that 1 to 5? Doreen, could I start with you on this one?
Sure. 1 to 5. Prior to SwiftComply, I would have rated it about a 1, but now I'm right between a 4 and a 5. I'm still
Good.
learning some of the reports that are in the system and stuff. So I just have a basic, very small spreadsheet, just kind of like how many letters have gone out, late
Right.
notices, red tags, all that kind of stuff, and I report that directly to our assistant director of utilities. And if our director wants the information, it's available to him, but it's much easier than what I was working with prior to this program.
Hey, we'd love to hear that. So that's awesome. Good, good, good. Ilya, I know you just came off the mic there, so I'm gonna throw it over to you on this one.
So I do have a nice group chat with my leadership,
Good.
and I do export a lot from SwiftComply and
Yep.
synthesize it kind of like Doreen said
Sure.
in a presentable spreadsheet that my leadership can open. And if my deputy director has a question, it's very easy and informal. Just dump it into chat. What happened with X or whatever? And if there's something that numbers themselves don't point out, I will make sure to go out of my way and say, hey, this needs more attention, and I'll keep track in post. But exporting from SwiftComply, I'd say I'm a solid 4.
Yeah.
Uh,
Good.
but
Good.
it's useful. I'm happy having the statistics, and especially comparing to previous years, and you can see your progress. And
Yeah.
management is very happy when they see progress, regardless of what it
Yeah.
is. That they're happy.
So true. And then Aaron, I'm gonna throw you a little curveball. I'm gonna ask you, if you had to say 1 to 5, how does your management feel about the tracking of the program?
That's a good one, Zach.
I don't mean
I
to throw you on there.
I think it kind of comes down to, again, no news is good news.
Yes.
We have a pretty tight program, and so they don't really hear much about the program or where we stand until the end of the year or close to the end of the year. Um, Unless we get to the point of shutoffs.
Sure.
And I'm pretty I communicate probably too much with them just to say, hey, these folks are on the list this month. We've done the X, Y, and Z, and
Yeah.
but I think overall they're happy and pleased with how it's going. As long as I'm pleased, and
Yeah.
which I am, then and I can do my job effectively, then yes.
Perfect. Perfect. That's great to hear you guys. This next one that I wanted to kind of get into, again, kind of branches off from that general theme of making everything like visible, but maybe instead of leadership here, what about broader organizational awareness? So let's say, I don't know, just in general, the city, the municipality, your community, your citizens, what is the awareness of what you do and the impact that you have? What does that look like? And I'll leave it to anybody on this one. Who wants to start?
Zach, I'll start that one.
Yeah.
So we don't really communicate lots on a broad basis to the community. But whenever I'm doing surveys, I'm talking through what backflow prevention is and why it's important. And part of my professional growth is to get in front of people and to teach. So we're looking for opportunities in which to do that. And I would love to get in front of, hold maybe a conference or a seminar here for the
Yeah.
general public for all things water related so they can see all the parts and pieces. But
Yeah.
otherwise, Castle Rock, I'm sorry, we don't have a whole lot of education going on in the realm of backflow or cross connection.
Yeah, absolutely. Just the way it is right now, but I think you have
Yeah.
some awesome goals right going forward, so that's perfect. Um, let's go to Doreen. Let's go to you on this one.
Um, in the city itself, I run because we're kind of spread out across the city
Right.
with different departments. So when we have like, group events and things like that, and people are like, "Oh, what do you do for utilities?" And I tell them, and some people you can kind of see their eyes kind of glaze over a little bit, because they
Yeah.
don't understand. And I've come up with just like a real basic way of explaining it to either other coworkers or the general public. But we do some public events around here every year, and one of them specifically is called Verde River Day. It's a free event for citizens. It's in the park, and so we have water and wastewater information there. And this year I'm going to be adding, like, I'll have a small table with backflow information on it. I've also kind of made my own like small backflow tutorial, including slides and stuff for anyone who wants to go through that, explaining what it is, the implications if you don't have a program and what could happen. Um,
Love it.
it's available to anyone if they want to view it.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love that. I love that a lot. All right, Ilya, how about you? What does that look like for you?
That's kind of on the back burner for me. I'm by
Yep. Yep.
myself and we have 22,000 connections. And the best I've managed to is mailing postcards to
Yep.
residents and having a brochure and a little link for our website where they can, review information that's AWWA approved, or they have my contact information on there. And
Yep.
the very basic of, hey, if you're a homeowner, this is where you can encounter possible cross connection, why it's important for you, your family, to make sure that works. Because a lot of
Right.
people, I think that's, if I could talk to every resident, that will be the one thing I want to tell them. We're not making you do this because the state says you have to do this. We are protecting you and your family from potentially drinking something that you don't want to drink.
That's a
But
really good.
I love what Doreen's example. If I could, I would have a little stand on city
Yeah.
events as well.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And I think that's why, again, it's just so great to have you three here because we all have some differing sizes. I think we got a question here that they're asking like the sizes. What are we looking at for today? If you guys have like off the top of your head, or if you pulled up, would you mind sharing just number of devices, connections? I guess you could even go population size if you have that, but yeah, just to kind of share with everybody what we're looking at. Ilya, we'll just go with you here first.
Well, we're just shy of 100,000 residents, if I'm
Okay.
not mistaken, by the last
Yeah,
count. Connection-wise, a little over 22,000, and
nice.
known assemblies, a little over 9,000. I
Okay.
say known because every time I go out to do a survey, it's like, what is this one doing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's always those, always. And
Yeah,
then I guess, Ilya, how many people are on your staff? Is this one man army or? Yep.
you're looking at it.
There he is. Exactly. Exactly. Perfect. Okay. And then how about you, Erin?
So we have, I think last I heard, we have about 89,000, almost 90,000 population.
Mhm.
And we have something like 27 or 29,000 connections.
Okay.
But I only track about 3,100 assemblies
Okay.
and methods.
Yep. Perfect.
Oh, and
Perfect.
I'm a one-man army as well.
Yep.
Yep. Yep.
Exactly. And then Doreen, how about you?
So the city of Cottonwood, um, I don't know the exact number, but I think we're
Yeah.
somewhere between 12,500 and 13,500 for
Yep.
residents. But we also have an unincorporated area outside, unincorporated county area, because it's on our water system. And so that's probably, I want to say maybe another 3,000 connections. And I've only got at this moment 1,226
Yep.
assemblies to follow right now. But the city has incorporated some different areas. I'm trying to figure out how to. I know they have backflow preventers. They were just never entered into the system to be transferred. And we're trying to come up with, are they grandfathered to not have to do it? Or do we,
Yeah,
we're going to have to pick a date at some point and say, anything in this area new from now on has to, be included. But there's, I don't know, I don't want to call it political issues, but there's just some, issues with that because people are
sure.
going to be upset.
Always. Yep. Perfect. And then Doreen, one woman army there as well, correct?
Yes. Oh,
Yep.
yes. Just me.
Yeah. Yep. So theme there that we've got. So okay. Perfect. So jumping into the next question that I've got here for you guys, the next theme or topic, actually kind of relates back to Doreen, something you said, kind of I like the way you said it with people's eyes kind of glazing over and what in the world is going on? What are you talking about? So, water compliance obviously is quite technical, I think we can all agree on. So it's more challenging to convey a lot of that information to just the general public. Do you guys have any suggestions for kind of overcoming that language barrier? I know, Ilya, you said you made a move to postcards, try to make it a little bit more digestible. I'm kind of curious just if you guys could elaborate on overcoming the language barrier. Doreen.
I think with regular residents, just pointing out the danger because
Mm.
it's a lot of the time it's completely anywhere that they can see it. Even if
Yeah,
it's just a irrigation system, it's underground. They're not looking at it, they're not thinking about it.
right.
But when you point it out, like, would you drink from the puddle that's in your backyard? Well, no, I will not. And that's why
Yeah,
you have the backflow preventer. And it's like, oh, okay, it clicks. I find dealing with residents much easier. The challenge is big commercial like industries because they will try and argue with like, well, we don't have to do this, we don't have
right.
to do that, and it becomes you have to be a little bit more technical
Okay.
dealing with
Yeah.
them,
Yeah.
and they come up with more problems every time you talk to them. So that's the challenge. I
That
see
is
it's still a nut that's in the process of being cracked,
okay.
but I don't know. Target your audience, and hopefully they don't glaze over.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And I think too, some of those like weekly calls that you've jumped in on and some of the sessions, training sessions that we've done, or even in these Swift summits, I think it's great that we have such an awesome community here at SwiftComply with all of our different customers. So everybody can kind of put their brains together and hopefully help crack that tough nut of like, yeah, how do we overcome, the commercial side of things? That is a bit more technical. How do we relay this information and see progress? So that's awesome. Thank you for pointing that out. Doreen, I'll throw this one to you.
Um, I get more results again talking to the public.
Yeah,
And I just try and explain it in layman's terms, don't throw
right.
out any technical terms to them. And I think the easiest way to explain to a homeowner, I use the, if there was a house fire in your neighborhood and the fire department comes out and connects to two, um, hydrants, you're going to lose your water pressure, if not lose all of it completely. And because of the water, try and explain how the water pressure drops in the main line and everything comes flowing out of their house, depending on their, where it's sitting. And they understand that.
Yeah,
They understand that completely. And so when I explain that, like when you have industry and stuff, that if they did not have the backflow preventers and something like that happened, what could actually end up in our water supply?
sure.
And then they're all like, oh, we don't want that. So,
Yeah,
I think the simplest explanations are the easiest. I'm trying to figure out a way to come up with something for more on the for kids. So maybe something interactive that they can do and they can see it happening. I'm still kind of working on that.
perfect. Alrighty. Erin, anything to add that's been different from what you've heard from Ilya and Doreen?
Now, so one thing to add for Doreen, what we have available, I don't have a whole lot of opportunity to deliver them, but ABPA publishes Buster Backflow. They're kind of comic books slash coloring books. And so that's a way to help reach the kiddos. And you can purchase it right from their group. But also years ago, we had a contractor, this was even before my time, we had a contractor build a model of a neighborhood and you run water through it and then you drop a little bit of food coloring in it and turn it on and you can see how it gets sucked back into the water distribution system. I haven't had again much opportunity to use it, but it's
Yeah.
pretty neat. It's pretty primitive, but
Yeah.
it gets the point across. So
Well, shoot. And I mean, yeah, overcoming that language barrier. I mean, yeah, let's
Mhm.
start, let's start
yeah.
while they're young and like, yeah, get it in front of them, educate everybody at an early age. So no, that's perfect. Thank you guys so much for your answers to that one.
Mhm.
And then I think kind of coming back, so that was awesome to see kind of the language barrier, overcoming that, talking to our general population. But going back to the leadership side of things, do you have any stories? Do you have any examples of a time where I don't know, let's say you're trying to present the work that you've done in order to achieve recognition, in order to achieve additional funding. Do you have anything specific to that that you would be willing to share with the group here today? And Ilya, I might start with you on this one. I know you're unmuted, so we'll go there.
We did have a very big commercial customer
Hmm.
who had altered an air gap, and I had to go straight to my management on this one because
Sure.
we had to tread lightly and balance. Do we go straight to harsh enforcement? Do we try to work with the customer?
Yep.
It turned out that they had not put any permits for the work, so it got as ugly as you can imagine the more we dug into it. And having that direct line to my management was really useful because I went in with pictures, tell 1,000 words, show them the picture, show them what was wrong and what used to be there. And that got my management on my side, and we were able to get the customer back in compliance very quickly.
Sure.
They ended up not having any other penalties. But again, I can't stress this enough. Talk to your leadership. Like there are people, just reach out, explain it as best as you can.
Absolutely. Establish that line of communication and keep it strong. I love it. Um, Erin, I'm gonna go over to you on this one here next.
This is a hard one for me, Zach.
Yeah.
I feel like anytime I get in front of my supervisor or need to even escalate that further, they're
Yep.
very open to what I need.
Good.
I'm not one to, um, I'm pretty independent and
Good.
self-reliant, but when
Yep.
there's something that the program needs and needs to be done, I get a huge amount of support. As
Good.
far as funding, that's always a tricky question, but I
Right.
actually haven't crossed that bridge yet. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Good. 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 I love that. And then Doreen, anything different from what the other two have mentioned?
No, I
Yeah.
sometimes, dealing with contractors or like we have a lot of new construction going on in the area, and I think I get more pushback from them and have to pull out, all the rules and the regs and why we do what we do. I have support from my management, absolutely. If they have any issues or something needs to be done differently, they usually have a good explanation why. But we're
Yes.
we're also in the process right now of updating all kinds of things like our engineering design standard manual because we work with our public works department on that. Is getting the information in there that we need. So I haven't really had to pull out anything huge for any kind of recognition because they know the program here does exist. So and they
Perfect.
know I'm on it.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Just making it ultra visible so that way, yeah, there isn't this need to escalate it to leadership per se. Like it is just
Yeah.
there. You have that. I love
Yeah.
it. Okay, cool. Alrighty. Well, I know we're kind of coming up on time, I believe. So let's go through maybe two more questions here for you guys. The next one that I'm thinking of is part of the survey results spoke to the strategic plan of the city, of the municipality. Do you guys know, do you have a strategic plan, I guess, first off? And then secondly, to that, how much effort do you believe, if any, is put towards that strategic plan by your management team that incorporates into what you do, like speaks directly to your daily work? So do you have a strategic plan and how does it apply to what you do? And we'll start with you, Doreen.
We do. Our city is in the process of updating the strategic plan right now, and
Nice.
water compliance and water safety is a huge thing, especially here in Arizona. With our drought conditions
Of course.
and
Yep.
all the questions we get, and complying with federal and state requirements. So it's a big part of it. It's an important part of it. So I've got the full support. Um, Really, the only thing I have to do is just do reporting on it since this is an outside program now. So
Perfect.
um, it's good.
Good. Good. That's great. And then Erin, how about for you?
Yeah, we have a strategic plan. It was just redone, I believe, in 24,
Okay.
and it doesn't specifically call out the cross connection control program, but it's an underlying theme through everything.
Sure.
We're getting ready to redo our program manual, make it better, and we'll update code and ordinances and all that accordingly. But yeah, the strategic plan has my back. So
Good. Good.
yeah.
Love to hear that. And then Ilya, how about for you? Do you have the same experience or is it different for you?
Uh, Mostly the same. However, I kind of used it to my advantage here because when we were redoing ours, I think it was 2 years ago, I kind of used that to point out the things that the program is still lacking in, and that started the whole conversation of, am I utilizing my resources the best as I can, or is this time here to maybe introduce a new person and expand the program. So that's a very good opportunity if you're involved in any way, shape, or form to kind of bring those things up at that time. Either that, or if your state is doing a sanitary survey, that's also an excellent opportunity to kind of cue in your state a little bit where you are, and maybe they can put in something in there. Hey, so and so program is underpowered for the connections you're serving.
Yeah. And I think kind of hand in hand with that, um, all three of you are being, you are that one person army, right? That's like tackling everything by yourself. Now, it's wonderful because I think for all three of you, really, it sounds like you have quite a tight-knit relationship with your leadership and things are very transparent, which is awesome. That is the ideal. Do you ever find that you're under-resourced? Like, like what does that look like? Like, do we need more
Yeah.
staffing? Should there be help? And like, do you ever bring that up to leadership? What does that look like for you?
It's we've been bringing it up more and more lately. Our whole water quality department is rather small.
Mm,
It's one water quality analyst, one cross connection specialist, and we have two utility systems technicians, which
mhm.
take care of our wells. And it's when one, such a small team, when one person is missing, the workload for the others goes up. So there are days where I'm not doing any cross connection work. I'm doing other stuff that's also vital,
Right.
but it kind of puts off the other stuff I want to do, like education program or more surveys. It kind of pushes them down the line. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'm lucky. My management actually listens to me, and but they have to balance, what I want, because
Right.
and what they can actually deliver and what will be the most productive. So
Exactly. Yeah, bit of a juggling act, but not only on your end, but also on leadership side. So Doreen and Erin, I saw you guys nodding along as we go there. So I think we're all in agreement on that. Thank you so much for adding that input there. And just kind of as a last question and parting message, I suppose, to everybody that's here in attendance, do you have any suggestions for program coordinators, people that are in your shoes? How can I increase that visibility? How do I get this relationship with my leadership to have that transparent, communication with them where we're seeing eye to eye? I'm just kind of curious, what you have to say, like anything to share. And I know that's a thinker, but Doreen, looks like you might be ready, so I'll start with you.
Um, I think one of the biggest things to bringing the whole cross connection control program up front was getting the software,
Sure.
and we looked at other programs and stuff, but when I was able to explain how much time this saved me to free me up for other things, because I do a lot of other things for more administrative functions for water and wastewater. I do payroll for 37 people. I process all the invoices for both departments, and I'm the only one that does what I do. And so having, the extra time savings, takes away the additional cost. We don't have to worry too much in my department about budgeting issues because we're self-funded, or an enterprise fund, I guess they call it. So, but I just make sure that they know that this is definitely worth it, and to keep it in the, out front there, that it's still working and it's
Yeah,
great.
that's awesome. That's incredible. Um, Hopefully we bought enough time, Erin and Ilya, to think on that one a little bit because this one is a tricky one. But Erin, what are your thoughts? What are your kind of closing remarks and suggestions?
Yeah, I'm really lucky. This program was actually built before me, and I just keep it running. So that goes back to prior leadership, to the current leadership, the prior administrator, and so forth. So um, I guess my thought would just be to have like a breakdown of what your program is, what your time spent is on the program, and how it can be better utilized, and just open up those lines as best you can.
Awesome. I love it. All right. And Ilya, last but not least.
I would say definitely work on your interpersonal relationship with your management. I found that this has propelled my program forward the most. You can pull a lot of data out, but when nobody knows who you are and why you're bringing this up, it can be a struggle. So if you can find ways to get your leadership to know you and you to know them, and then you know when you actually need something, how you can present it in a manner that they'll react to, and that that will be my advice. Because data is data, it's always going to be there. But when they know the name and the face, it instantly pops up. Oh, he wants something, and they'll react.
Excellent. Perfect. Well, thank you guys. I really, really appreciate your time today and your willingness to join us for this panel and speaking in front of everybody. Some awesome answers.